Time grows short, my love. Let us end with the beginning of the world, shall we? Yes, we shall. My memories, fragmented like ancient amber, show a world long lost, a vibrant civilization named Sil-Anagist. It was a city sprawling, branching like mold, its vastness almost incomprehensible to those of the later Stillness. Here, dreams had no limit. The people of Sil-Anagist mastered matter, shaped life, and grew bored with the sky, turning their attention back to the earth beneath their feet. Their buildings were living cellulose, their vehicles glided on resonant potential, momentarily ceasing to exist as they passed over living things, a phenomenon no one thought of as death. At the core of each major Sil-Anagist node stood an amethyst obelisk, a pulsing heart feeding and being fed by its city. Life was sacred in this magnificent civilization. Within one such complex, a boy named Hawa, pale and sterile in a white room, gazed at winking purple flowers in a rooftop garden. He was a tuner, one of many artificially created beings designed to manipulate the planet's magic, to control the great plutonic engine. Then came Kellenly, a woman whose presence felt like a churning, irresistible force. She was a prototype, an earlier tuner, tasked with teaching Hawa and his siblings how to truly interact with the formidable onyx obelisk, the engine's control kabochan. Kellenly revealed a truth that shattered their carefully constructed reality. They were not merely tools, but echoes of a conquered people, the Nis. Their ice-white eyes and ash-blow hair, once a mark of inferiority, were, in fact, features of a people Sil-Anagist had feared and then sought to erase, only to recreate their power in a controlled form. The majestic plutonic engine, meant to harness the Earth's magic for infinite efficiency, was a lie. It was built on exploitation, a parasitic system that would eventually drain the Earth itself. This knowledge ignited a new, forbidden concept within Hawa and his fellow tuners: revolution. They resolved to turn the engine's power back on Sil-Anagist, to destroy the parasitic civilization that had created them, and in doing so, die themselves. On launch day, as the fragments rose, shimmering into place around the globe, and the onyx, now held by Hawa, connected to the Earth's core, a new presence emerged. Father Earth, an ancient, sentient being, had awakened. It saw humanity, particularly the tuners, as a threat that sought to enslave it. In a cataclysmic battle of wills, the Earth fought back, seizing control of 27 obelisks and unleashing a delayed, but devastating, burn-down protocol. Hawa, in a desperate act of defiance and love for Kellenly and her unborn child, redirected the energy, shattering the moon and slamming it out of orbit, creating the first, and worst, fifth season, the Shattering. The Earth, in turn, transformed Hawa and the other tuners into stone, binding them to its core, a punishment leavened with the ability to endure. This was the beginning of the Stillness, a world forever fractured, forever suffering the seasons. And this narrator, Hawa, now known as Wa, would forever bear witness. Now, 2 years into the current fifth season, Essun, the last origin to open the obelisk gate, wakes from a magical coma. Her right arm is turning to stone, a slow petrification mirroring what happened to her former mentor, Alabaster. Her immediate goal is to find her daughter, Nassun, taken by her estranged husband, Jija, who murdered their son, Uche. Essun is a shadow of her former self, physically weakened but imbued with immense, unstable power. She travels with the remnants of Castrima, a fragile community led by Waika, whom Essun respects but whose calm she inadvertently destroyed by using the geode's power. Nassun, meanwhile, is on her own harrowing journey. After killing her father, Jija, who transformed into glittering jewels, she is left with her guardian, Shafa, and the Stone Eater, Steel. Shafa, once a loyal servant of the earth, is now contaminated by a core stone fragment that gives him immense power but also agonizing pain and fragmented memories. Steel, the manipulative Stone Eater, pushes Nassun towards a path of immense power, revealing her ability to command obelisks. Nassun, heartbroken and enraged by the world's endless cruelty, makes a silent vow. She will end it all by bringing back the moon, a celestial body whose absence is believed to cause the seasons. Essun's journey with Castrima is a test of endurance. Through the harsh ashfall and the deadly Mers Desert, she witnesses the community's struggle, their dwindling supplies, and the raw humanity of their desperation. She reconnects with former Fulcrum associates like Maxix, a limbless origin who leads a band of Comless survivors, and Danil, a former Renanist general who reveals herself to be an equatorial lorist, determined to record the world's end. Essun grapples with her own monstrous power and the consequences of her actions. She learns that the stone statues littering Renanis are the consumed remains of its former inhabitants, absorbed by hungry stone eaters. She also discovers that Alabaster, her former mentor, has been reborn as a stone eater, a process initiated by Antimony, Hoa's sister. This realization deepens her understanding of the stakes and the true nature of the ancient war between life and the earth. Nassun and Shafa endure their own arduous journey to core point, guided by steel. Nassun learns to channel her silver, the magic of life, to soothe Shafa's pain, gradually realizing their symbiotic bond. They travel through ancient Dead Sea IV ruins, including a vast underground city, a testament to the sheer scale of the past civilization and its hubris. They finally reach Core Point, a silent city of stone eaters, where Shafa, suffering immensely from the core stone's influence, succumbs to the Earth's will, becoming a puppet for the very entity he was meant to control. Nassun is left alone with a dying Shafa, faced with the horrifying choice. Let him suffer, or transform him into a stone eater, knowing it would condemn all of humanity to the same fate. As Essun and her companions finally reach Renanis, they face the terrifying reality of the rifting. The sky is a wall of fire and ash, the Earth's ceaseless snarl a constant presence. Essun, now pregnant with Lerna's child, makes peace with her past. She chooses to bring her chosen family, Lerna, Tonki, Hiarka, Danil, with her on the final, impossible journey to Core Point. Traveling through the Earth's mantle with Wa, they are attacked by rogue stone eaters, and Lerna is lost in the depths, a devastating blow that further hardens Essun's resolve. At Core Point, Nassun stands atop a pylon, her network of 27 obelisks arrayed in the sky, ready to enact her apocalyptic plan. But just as she is about to unleash her power, Essun emerges from the depths, a desperate, stone-afflicted figure. Their reunion is fraught with the weight of 2 years of loss, pain, and terrible choices. Essun, seeing her daughter's path, understands Nassun's intent to turn the entire world to stone. In a climactic struggle, Essun harnesses the rifting's power and seizes control of the onyx, attempting to redirect Nassun's devastating plan towards her own goal, to catch the moon and end the seasons. It is a battle of wills, mother against daughter, each driven by a fierce, broken love. Essun, seeing Nassun's impending petrification, makes the ultimate sacrifice. She releases her hold on the onyx, drawing all the transforming magic into herself, allowing Nassun to live, even if it means Essun herself turns to stone. Nassun, witnessing her mother's final, loving act, cries out. With her mother's last wish echoing in her mind, and guided by the silent will of the onyx, Nassun chooses. She executes Essun's plan. The moon is recaptured, settling gently into its orbit. The obelisk gate, having served its purpose, dismantles itself, and the onyx descends into the ocean, carrying the last vestiges of the Nis to rest. Shafa, now free of the core stone, eventually dies peacefully. Steel, finally weary, accepts an uneasy truce with Wa and Antimony, joining them in the Earth's core to negotiate a lasting peace. The Earth keeps its magic, and humanity gains freedom from the seasons. Months later, Wa, the eternal witness, brings Essun back to life, reassembling her arcanic substance within the Earth. Essun rises, transformed into living stone, with marble skin and jasper hair. She remembers her past, her losses, and her choices. Nassun, now an aligned origin who can no longer manipulate magic, is faced with a world that must rebuild. Wa explains that while seasons will still occur, the Earth has agreed to a truce. He tells Nassun that origins now have the power to either conquer stills or to force them into cooperation, for the first time truly free of guardians and fulcrums. Nassun, wiser now, looks to a future where humanity might finally build a world of true cooperation. Only to be with you, Wa tells Essun, explaining his purpose now that the world has changed. Essun, finally accepting of her new form and the sacrifices made, takes his hand. Then let's go make it better, she says. A new world begins, forged in fire and sorrow, but offering the fragile hope of a different future.